Welcome everyone to Loud and Proud Orlando. It's Monday, November the 20th, 8:41 p.m. Thank you so much for being live with us. Also, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcast and Spotify or your Google Podcast, also thank you so much for your support. Make sure you drop us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell for all notifications. We are on Twitter at LPO underscore podcast. We're also on Instagram at LPO underscore podcast and on YouTube as Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you so much for your support. My apologies today. I had some technical difficulties with my camera. I'll be voice only for today, but I'm having that fixed by Friday, so because I have to go cover. So definitely I'll be ready for the new week. Hopefully, with an Orlando City going to the conference finals, right? And an amazing 10-year run Orlando City has had. I guess we'll start with that. A 10-year run with Orlando City, right? The MLS today highlighted that Orlando City it's been part of part of the league for over 10 years now. I still remember this day. I'm sure John remembers it better than, than Paula and I, but I remember being a season ticket holder, going to the Warwaller Sports in Disney for the last USL matches, and then eventually transitioning in 2015 and selling all those packages for to play at the Citrus Bowl at the time. And I was there. I was one of you guys. I was one of you guys. Very proud of seeing this team starting from the ground up, building a fan base, um a thriving fan base. A very organic fan base. Nothing was cookie cutter. Nothing was brought in from other places. It was literally a true beautiful sight to see from me growing up with the sport down south and seeing how passionate and how people there live and breathe soccer. you know Seeing that in my own home turf, which is Orlando, was like superb. And there were people from St. Cloud, there were people from Kissimmee, there were people from Winter Park, people from UCF area. So it was amazing. So I'm very very happy to mention that. John, how are you, my friend? I'm sure that you'll have other things to say about the 10 years. How are you?
Good, buddy. Yeah, I can't complain. I know. I was thinking about that day. It was a long 10 years ago in Cheyenne Saloon, a place that's now being converted into something else. Doesn't even exist anymore. So we used to have purple beer. We used to have Heineken that we dyed with purple dye. So everyone had purple beer at the event. There's just like a lot of things. Like I mean, there's some people on that stage that I don't like. It's pretty bad people on that stage, as well as some, other people from the
I
league
didn't want
that,
to say that,
like some old owners, two ex-owners on that. They're no
mm-hmm.
longer. My dad's no longer an owner, and Flavio no longer an owner. That the commissioner of the league. That's controversial at times. There's commissioners there, so it's just a photo, and it's so funny because it's like, wow, we've come 10 years, but like things are so different. Like we didn't even have a logo then. That's why it's just Orlando City 2015,
I
right?
remember Rick Scott.
Yeah, like it's
Let's get to work.
like we had to announce the team. We didn't have a logo. Like it's crazy. So yeah, it's a long, long time ago, and to think that it's been because that was November 19th, 2013, and then I joined shortly after that full time to really help. Like we onboarded so many people for that big ramp up from going from a small and USL kind of run club to being a major league soccer club that needed a whole bunch of departments and different areas that we didn't have before. So this was just like that kind of starting day where everything from then escalated up until that first day. I'm sure Paula, you were there, right, on the first day that we actually played in MLS. No,
I
Paula,
was
come
there.
on,
I was there.
it's
No,
the
I
Cosmo
I was
moved
there
opening
to Florida
with the
equalizer.
with the free kick.
2016.
Oh, the
with a
free
free kick
kick.
against NYCFC. I do remember that.
Boring game up until the free kick. I'm right
I
now.
remember Max Discarud played for NYCFC at that
Screwed,
time.
yeah, yeah, next to Screwed, that's right.
Yeah.
And they had David Villa up front,
Yep, David
and
Villa.
they had they had was Pirlo then, or he came later, I
No,
think.
Pirlo came later.
Yeah, Pirlo was
Pirlo came a
later. Who did
season
they have
later.
in D mid at that time? I feel like they had somebody big at
We
D
had
mid. I don't remember.
Seb Hines,
We had Stefan Igita, right? He was
Higuita,
probably
Christian
playing there
Higuita,
too.
which I
Yeah,
mean,
there. Kaká, obviously, star man with
Kevin
the
Molino.
Kevin Molino, you're right? Yeah, yeah. We had Donovan Ricketts in goal, top notch goalkeeper there.
That's right.
Anyway, it's not, yeah. But this day was iconic. So it's crazy to me to think that it's been 10 years since that happened and everything that's happened in 10 years.
What about
So
you? What
cool.
about you, Paula? How do you seen the progress from I know that you probably didn't see the USL days, but what made you literally like join to be with Orlando, and what brought you to the club? What was one of the things that you truly like appreciate from the fan base?
To be honest, it was the wall, like um the drums and everything in the atmosphere. I went to the last game in the Citrus Bowl against DC
That's
United.
your first game you
That
went
was
to
my
is the
first
last
game.
game in the Citrus Bowl?
Yes,
Yeah.
No
sir.
way.
Yes,
What a
sir.
way
Because I
to be
moved on
like, well, that was fun. I'll
2016.
never see that stadium again.
Exactly. I was so pumped that I told my friends, "Oh, I want to come next week, blah blah," and they were like, "No, Paula, this is the last game of the season." I'm like, and it was in October. It was because of my job. They pay us like a family day kind of situation, and we sat like right behind the wall, like right there, and it was like I have never been into a soccer game before because this is not normal back home. If it's normal, it's super little. It's like I think like USL, but much little than USL games. So it was just that, and then the next following year, I went to almost every single game, but I didn't become season ticket member until 3 years ago, and I didn't know why. I was like, no, no, let me just go game by game because I didn't know if I was gonna able to go on each game because of work. But then I converted to season ticket member. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna invest. So I've been here in the hard times in 2018 that we were always in a losing streak. I know that we don't want to talk about that, but I think that was the moment that I like put a stamp that I'm an official fan of Orlando City, because if I was a different type of fan, I didn't want to like go back or blah blah blah. But I went, I stood, stand there. So this is why it's super important to us. On Saturday, we get that W.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a cherry on the cake for this wonderful 10 years, for this wonderful organization that it's Orlando City and Orlando Pride. For sure. Huge impact. I was part of the beginning of. I went to the breaking ground event with a purple sand. I have my little jar of purple sand. I'm that OG.
I remember making those tiny
Yep.
jars of purple
But
sand.
man, imagine how life, like I never thought honestly I'll get the chance to you know to to work on my minor, and then cover the club at some point. To me, that's why it's so special. And that's why I have so much love, because I mean, even though I'm from Peru, like I grew up in Orlando. Like I came to Peru when I was 14. Like I went to Dr. Phillips High School, then Olympia High School when they first opened in 2003. Then I lived in West Orlando, then moved to East Orlando, Sanford, went to Seminole State College. So like I've been around. So like when Orlando first came, like when I say a professional soccer team was coming into town, like I got super excited because it's for me, like the sport was everything, right? So playing pickup games on the weekends here and there, and now you have an actual club you're gonna go actually see, play for your actual city. It was really exciting, and I was a season ticket holder maybe till I believe it was like 2017. That was my last season because I couldn't afford it honestly. But to be honest with you, and but it was an amazing run, and then eventually how life works in mysterious ways, circled back, and then here I am. You know people enjoy our content and enjoy John's comments and Paula's comments and my comments, and now it's full circle, and and it's amazing to feel a little bit teeny part, a grain of salt into this success called Orlando City, in my opinion. So, but to add into what the 10 years, the wall sold out. So, and that's the title of our episode today, and that is what we want to highlight. The 12 man factor for Orlando City is going to be huge in this playoffs. Um, and I think we got it under the bag. I think we have the best fan base in the MLS, the most loyal, and without a shadow of a doubt. You know, do you think, John, it will make quite an impact? I mean, the wall being completely sold out. I know the rest of the bowls they're still kind of working on getting filled out. Do you feel like Orlando's going to sell out against Columbus?
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like you go look on the seat map.
Yeah.
If people have posted it on Twitter and stuff, there's little dots here and there. I think the thing is like it'll be a sellout. What we need is a full turnout. That's two different things because and every time we announce the attendance, they're announcing the scanned amount of tickets through the door, but they're also announcing the actual sold season ticket number. That doesn't mean all those season ticket members came to the game. That's something that every soccer team does, by the way. This is not just us. So what we need is for the season ticket members to turn up. And sometimes people have season tickets and they come like 1 or 2, 3 games a year, but you'd hope that they would come to this game. I think what doesn't help is that it is like a Thanksgiving weekend. I hope that people have like done Thanksgiving there. Like if you're traveling, you're probably gone till Sunday, right? So you might not be come back for Saturday night. But if you're in town, you think you're free because it's Saturday and your Thanksgiving weekend and you're just having a long weekend. So I'm hoping a lot of people will come. I think it's got enough hype around it. People are talking about it in around town and everybody's excited and we're making local news. Like who knew the local news is finally we figured out we have a soccer team. So even on the sports radio, they're having to talk about it, even though they never talk about us, et cetera, et cetera. But I think a sellout is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. I think it'll sell out I'm going to say like Thursday, maybe even. I don't think it'll make it till Friday or Saturday. That's my this week prediction. There you go. Thursday, it'll already be sold out. So get your tickets. Remember last spot, Luis, I told people like, get your shit together, and look, the wall's already sold out. Like I got friends who are like, can we come in the wall? I don't have a ticket. I don't have a ticket for the wall right now. So I'm sure there'll be some floating around on the secondhand market, but still.
And look, a lot of people, and I've seen, not a lot of press for Orlando City. They're in a Eastern Conference semifinals. There's more press for Columbus. Obviously, they're the most, they're one of the first 10 clubs in the MLS. They have history and things like that. They've won important things in the league. But Orlando, it's an important mark, 10 years, and loyal fan base. Quote unquote small market, right? Making big things happen, right? Making important and economically savvy decisions when it comes to signing players. And I think since the beginning, I believe, because I remember when Orlando first got Julio Batista, for example, for the cheap. And the people call him the beast or the animal. I think they call him. I don't remember, but I mean, he scored a couple of
He
goals.
was the beast.
The beast, right? They call him a couple of he scored a couple goals, like important goals too at the time. Also, one thing that I think was in a way kind of a little bit of a bad decision was paying Dom Dwyer that much money. I think he kind of backfired Orlando, but either way, like that's how you learn. That there's going to be ups and
I mean,
downs.
we had such success in USL.
Hmm.
Like if you go back to that picture
Yeah,
release of that first game,
of course.
there's it was funny because the banner that you can kind of see going up
Hmm.
says like our reign begins now, and like it's sort of like we're in MLS and we thought we're just gonna like roll into that same success level, and we just didn't really do that. So it's been hard, man, in MLS for us
Yeah,
for a lot of time. So that's why these moments matter more, because like Atlanta rolled in first year and won it.
and won
So
it. Like that's
they never
crazy.
really, and now they're like going through some stuff like we are, where they don't really know. Like their fan base is like, whoa, what's up? We're just not like
Good anymore.
we're not winning. Like we don't have the guys. We have like even star players, and we're still not doing it. Like they can't figure it out right now. It's all about whose stock is up and whose stock is down as teams. Like teams rise and fall, and we're on a big rise right now. So it makes me happy, and I'm excited for the future. Also, in that picture, you can see the skulls beneath on the tifo of all the Florida teams. Like we definitely lord over the Florida team still, but Miami at that point we're not even. Yeah, look, you can see the Rowdy skull, and then there was the Jacksonville Armada that also don't
Oh,
exist
Jacksonville
anymore.
Marta, yeah.
And then I can't remember what the other one even was. There was it might be the Miami FC team that was in NASL, I want to say, that's still
Mhm.
down there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
Actually,
are the kings of Florida. We always have been, but I think our reign in MLS is hopefully really now beginning with the last few years.
correct. Paula, would you buy a retro shirt? Like, this is how it started. White kit, and
Take my
then
money
you
for
had
sure.
Oh
this
my
red
God.
kit here. Still remember the red
Uh,
kids?
are these all the English line? Who are you getting? Oh, the London to the UK. Where are you seeing these?
Yeah. So I think it was the London.
Yeah, they all have like the old. Somebody has like every single one.
Yeah,
Like I don't even have that.
yeah,
I should have
and
kept a better record of my jerseys, Luis. I'm
correct.
terrible. I
That's a
was the guy in charge of the jerseys. I don't even have every jersey. How stupid am I?
I know, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Oh man, no, no, but it shows, like, so, this is the original crest, right? Obviously, there was a huge change from the original crest to. Do you guys had any word on the new crest? Like any input whatsoever? Like the old organization, like the people from you that were part of the USL into the new crest of what it is now, like the line in the back behind you.
yeah. I mean, I think it was like that logo was done quickly when we were a USL team and was like cheap. It wasn't like bad, but it wasn't. I don't think we were in love with the three lion graphic. It's not the greatest logo ever. This was after 1 year we had one star. There's different
Yeah,
versions, obviously, with different stars. We did so well. But overall, I think the red is the thing I miss. I think the red
yeah,
really a little bit of red in there with the purple and the gold. I think from this
yeah.
we obviously wanted the lion, and MLS requires you to rebrand. Like you see what's going to happen. Like Portland did it. Like any team that comes from USL or is a team before it has to have a new logo or rebrand. So this is always going to happen, but I think we still own the rights to this. I want to say, if I'm not 100% on that. Or at least they did when I was still working there. So I would love for them to produce some retro stuff with this logo
Of
specifically. I
course,
don't know if they could do that.
take my money.
Right? I think everyone would just I think they would
Yeah,
sell just even this like logo tee on a purple shirt, black shirt.
yeah. Or
I'll happily pay
like
for
a
that.
new
So
like a new era hat with that logo, like
yeah, like
Mitchell
one of these, like
Mitchell and
purple,
Ness.
like
Yeah, like a
just like
Mitchell and
standard
Ness hat.
purple with that hat
How
on, or
I'll
It would
buy
be
it.
cool, some retro. I would love some red kit stuff. We'll see. It's gonna be a while, but
Yeah. What about
we'll
you,
see what
Paula?
happens.
Do you like this logo or the Orlando, the MLS one? But you love both.
I like this one. The one that I have right now. It's not that I don't like this one, but I don't know. I came in when this logo was on, so that's probably why. But I like the red though. It's a unique red that I want to see in a kit, you know? And I didn't heard, but I read in Twitter that probably Houston Dynamo for next year they're going to have purple. So I was like, what the heck?
What?
Like they're copy and pasting like first
They're
the
gonna do
Why?
Scarlet,
their away kit, yeah,
the away
purple.
kit with purple. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how rude. We're the
No,
only
that
purple
I
allowed.
mean, you see, like the league shouldn't do that. It shouldn't. The league shouldn't. It's like us putting a yellow kit.
I feel like away kit, so that's hard to like police that,
Yeah,
like your home brand is one thing, but like a
Hmm.
lot of people have a white or then you'd be
yeah.
like, oh, you're like LA Galaxy if you go white away kit, or if you have a let's say a red away kit, then you're like, I don't know,
I
Toronto. Like
remember. I
there's a lot
remember
of
when
crossover on
Orlando.
away kits. It's hard
I
to,
remember. You
but
remember
it's
the
fashionable to do purple now.
right?
That's what I'm thinking. People are like, ooh, it sells. Let's do purple.
I would love to get that. The closest thing we ever came to the old kit with the red was. Do you remember that Save the Ocean jersey that they put out? That it was a kind of like a purple and it had a the Adidas red stripes.
Yeah, I have that one.
Yeah,
It's like
like that.
it was like a ruby red kind of
Yeah, like a
on
ruby
Oh
red.
yeah, like a ruby.
on
Yeah,
like
yeah. It
a
wasn't a red.
magenta kind of
Orange,
Yeah,
lighter
and
orange
I
color.
was
red,
yeah,
something.
and I was
Yeah, it's
like,
orangey
man,
red. It was like a lighter colored
yeah,
pinky blue.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I can believe that. At first I got excited thinking that they were gonna do retro kits, but then I was like, oh, okay. But anyways, definitely quite a highlight. If we definitely get the W. Um, the Lions right now are in international duty. Pedro Galese and Willer Cartagena are with Peru. They lost 2-0 against Bolivia. It was one of the worst games Peru has ever played in a long time. The coach is under a microscope. He's ready to 33 million Peruvians want to get him out of there. He has a 2.5 million um, payout if they fire him. So the federation doesn't want to fire him because otherwise they'll have no money. And they're stuck with this guy until 2025. Now,
What's
if
up with him
Peru,
not playing Wilder, man? That's like disrespectful of
it's
how well
because
Wilder's
it
playing right
is it
now.
is it is disrespectful, and I wanted to actually add to that. Um, People in South America have this fetish against the MLS. That is true. They have bias against the league, and a lot of the coaches, especially like that are from South America, they still look down at MLS product. In Peru, even though Peru is a small team, because I'll be honest, I'm Peruvian, but I know we're a small team. We're nowhere near the level of Ecuador. We're nowhere near the level of Uruguay. We're nowhere near the level of Argentina or Brazil or even Colombia. So we're a small team, but we are big headed, big minded. We're like Napoleon. We're like Stuart Little. We believe we are like huge, but we are actually really small in little. So we believe some Peruvians, part of the Peruvian media, believe that, and coaches as well, that the MLS still a league that you go there and retire, you know? And some of them, this coach particularly, he rather will put Aquino, who plays in Santos Laguna, which he's just now got promoted to the first team, like literally like a month ago, than putting Wilder as a starter. Because Peru has a style of play. You have to play with a 10. You cannot play double contention. You cannot play with a double pivot. That is too defensive. We have to play our style. with a 10, with a with a tiki taka, and that's not how soccer is played now in
Well,
physical leagues like
and
the
when your
MLS.
style is very similar to other teams' style in South
Exactly.
America who have more
Exactly.
talent, you're trying to play them at their own game. And
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, so that is one thing about Wilder. In a way, it favors us because he's not being used. He's training hard, but he's not really not being used. So he's gonna come in top shape. The one who had a tough time is Pedro. I'll say he's drained out mentally. I'll be honest with you guys. Like I've seen him like he looked pretty bad. Like his just his look. Like you see him here, he's all smiles, and he after the loss against Bolivia, there was an issue in the locker room with some of the players. And he's one of the captains, so he has to put out the fire for a lot of them. So imagine like going through all of that. You don't even go through that on your own club, and you got to put up with that when you're in your national team, right? And then they're not putting one of the best fives in the league in the MLS, which is Wilder, with the best stats when it comes to ball recovery and all that stuff. They don't put him in, so it's been tough for Wilder. So they're gonna face Venezuela, which Venezuela is on the up and up. Venezuela to me is the favorite. They're right now a superior team than Peru. They play the best soccer right now, better soccer than Peru right now. And if Peru loses, you can kiss goodbye to the World Cup, especially if they keep this coach, because you play Colombia in Lima, which is to me a loss. Then you play Ecuador in Quito in the altitude. Then you go and play Uruguay in Peru, and then Uruguay's flying. They just beat Argentina, and then go to Brazil and face Brazil. So it is pretty much done. Now obviously Copa America will be way before that, but I think Wilder's not getting a lot of thread with the national team, which is great. But Pedro is mentally, I will say, not physically. And then when it comes to Facundo Torres, he's just not being used. He's being called up, but he's just Bielsa has not seen him, to put him as a starter. Which in a way, it's good for us because he's not gonna get hurt. Which I think that's what it worries us the most, right? I mean, I think.
I think it's good for right now, but I just think overall, like I think Uruguay don't have that many attacking talents that Facu shouldn't be getting minutes at all. Like I think that's stupid. Like I understand he should be in rotation, but I think he should be at least be given a chance under Bielsa. I don't know what. Maybe Bielsa doesn't like the fact that he's not 2 footed. I don't know, but yeah, and I think for Wilder and Pedro, it's hard to go on international duty when you're in that form, right? And it's like it's completely different from their Orlando City form right now. And then
Mhm.
it's like no, I don't want to I'm
Yeah,
sure
it's like a Debbie
Luis. It's
Downer.
hard. It's hard to watch your team lose like
Yeah.
that, right? And it's
it-
hard for them because they feel so. I
and then
think Orlando City is going to have the effect like they're going to come back into camp and be like happy to be
exactly, they're
back
gonna
with
be
Oscar and the
ecstatic
guys and
to.
be like, okay, let's focus on this, because it's not. This is the last international break. They can just focus on MLS playoffs still, and then ride out the season. So
Two other news for international. Paola wanted to tell you. I know Puerto Rico won also with a brace of Wilfredo Rivera. So um, they won against. I will say I think it was against.
I will let you know right now. I forgot the name.
Yeah, but I know Wilfredo Rivera won against. It was. I don't know if it was a friendly or
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a friendly. He had to
was it Trinidad?
Antigua and Barbuda.
Antigua and Barbuda, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah,
And
he
tomorrow
scored
they're
a
facing Bahamas.
yeah, so 3-2 win with a brace
Hmm.
of Wilfredo Rivera. I mean, that's great. I wish we would have seen a little more of him on in the first team, right? I mean, I don't know if he's gonna be loaned out or if he's gonna be playing next season. I don't know. Do you know anything about that?
I think his contract expired this season, I believe. I don't know if you know, John.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of the OCB guys are on 1, 2 years at a time. Like they don't. They're you know they seem to kind of motivate them by giving them short term contracts, or it just might be the way they build the roster now. It's not sort of 2 or 3 year deals. So he is on that list, I believe, and there's a lot more on that list as well. There's guys like I believe I have to look it up. I'm not gonna say anybody off the top of my head, but there's several I know on that list of guys that I would like to see get minutes in the future. So
Yeah, I
TBD
mean,
on when they're going to announce stuff for who's returning on OCB. It might just be a question of everything starts with the first team first, and then they'll
yeah,
figure out OCB later in the postseason. So
two of the players that are being, in my opinion, I think we should see more minutes. Not only Wilfredo, but also Kibungunchi, Nabi Kibungunchi. He played in Kenya for Kenya beat, I believe it was Cameroon or another one of the big African teams, 5-0. He had some minutes, right? 5-0 was a huge win. And then also Abdi Salim with Somalia. All right. I didn't know he played for Somalia.
according to transfer marks, yeah, everybody but Fernando Sanchez, Jorge Almaguer, Thomas Williams, Alex Freeman, and Gustavo Caraballo, I probably said most of those names wrong, are going to expire this year. Yeah,
Wow.
which is in Jack Lynn, which I don't see where else letting Jack Lynn go.
Yeah, me neither.
So, I think there's a lot of guys on here. Janino, I think will get another contract. Medina, I think you're right. Tahir Brown, et cetera, et cetera. I think there's a lot of Moises Deplante. Most of the guys, they had a good season. I think they'll try and retain a core of the OCB team and then add more from the academy and some more pickups from the draft.
That's right. And so now we're going to dive into the game that's coming up against Columbus. And I want to tell everyone, drop us your comments, subscribe. There have been no comments so far today. But if you're in our comment section, there is a link that I kind of placed on the chat. It's our Discord server. You may want to join. It's free. You can talk to us anytime, message us. And we also there talking about OCSC and Orlando Pride as well. But one of the biggest to me, and I wanted to ask that to Paula, to me, one of the keys for us to reach the conference final is going to be how sound we are defensively, right? And I guess last episode we went into a debate on which center back is going to get the starting job, and I guess Oscar made his mind that it's going to be Rodrigo Schlegel, right? So, Paula, do you believe that the defense is going to be an important part of reaching the finals? And do you feel like that back four of Santos, Jansen, Schlegel, and Dagerdan are our back? Is our starting back line moving forward?
For sure. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And I think Oscar is not gonna change the formula at this time of the year in our semifinal game. I think we are solid in defense. In the last 10 games, we haven't conceded a lot of goals, and I think we're clean sheet, if I'm not mistaken, for the last 5. So for me, that's our lineup for our defensive lineup, and for sure our pivots is super key that Araujo and Wilder will be connected as always, because they're always connected, right? To be able to stop Rossi, Cucho Hernandez, Gressel, that they have been even though that Rossi just came the other day, it was a plug and play, like you say, Luis, into Columbus system. So it's super important that we stay focused in the 90 minutes defensively, because in the offense we have it right. And I don't have any doubts that we're gonna score a lot of goals on Saturday, but mentally and physically we need to be defensive on Saturday, and in the first, let's say, 25 to 15 to 25 minutes is going to be intense. I can see blood on Saturday's game.
Now, John, do you feel Rodrigo Schlegel has earned the right to continue starting for Orlando City, like for the rest of
Yeah,
the
I think it would be too harsh, you know. I think he deserves that spot. I think, like we reported, Antonio might mentally be checked out. So I would say at this point it's almost a risk to take Schlegel out, which I didn't think I would ever say. But yeah,
to me,
I think it'd be dangerous to our back line at this point to make any changes, and very un-Oscar. I don't think he'll do that. I don't think he'll see any. I think we'll see exact same team that we saw. And I agree with you guys that there were weapons there that we didn't have last, defensive weapons, right? In Wilder that we didn't have. I think Dagger Dan has grown a lot since that game. Like, he could do a better job at right back, but we need those wing backs and center backs and even Pedro, right? We need everyone of that back 6 or 7, including the goalkeeper, to be chasing down everything and closing down everything, because they've got a lot of firepower, but they are defensively weak. So it's going to be a goal fest. We just got to make sure we can defend enough to not let them get crazy goals. Like, look at the games against Atlanta, 4-2.
Yeah.
4-2 and a 2-0. So,
well, one of the biggest
they
difference
conceded 6. That gives me hope.
I mean, to me, one of the biggest differences that Orlando has from Atlanta and any other team that they've faced is that, to me, this is just my own personal opinion, Orlando has, to me, the best defensive mid duo in the league. And now,
really, though, I think that's our biggest asset in this game.
And I would add, and I'm going to add, but I feel Orlando has had bad defensive games, or bad games defensively, sorry, when you put too much strain and you put a huge backpack full of rocks. So the whole responsibility of defending, you see Cesar Araujo really deep back or Wilder really deep back. It kind of pushes us back against the wall, and it makes our center backs kind of, in a way, not become the fastest center backs that we want them to be, especially when you have players like Cucho Hernandez and Diego Rossi. Then in transition, they're going to go and they're going to punish you. So to me, the trick is from the sides down. So we already know our double pivot, it's any team in the league will love to have Wilder and Cesar as their double pivot, right? Now we got that. But to me, I think for our center backs to feel a little freer playing and actually being able to focus on just their roles as center backs and not be dwindling on what's happened on my left, what's happened on my right, who I have to cover, our wing backs need to be spot on defensively. So I'm talking about Dagger Dan and Rafael Santos. Now, with Dagger, we've seen it in this past few games. I think with Dagger, the ability that, because he was a 6, he played defensive mid, he kind of in a way knows on the 1v1 where that player may do a little, cut or try to, sneak the ball somewhere. I don't see the same thing as for Rafael at the moment. Like, I do see that his crosses are great, but I feel like defensively he could maybe do a little better. And that, to me, is going to be when Columbus sees that, they're going to try to punish us. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that, Paula? Do you think that that's a good assessment?
No, that's true. Sometimes you can see Jansen or Schlegel screaming Rafael Santos, because sometimes he can stop the play and he doesn't, and let the, that gap for the offensive player from the for the other team. And Schlegel and Jansen, I have seen it in my own with my own eyes, like in front of me when I'm at the stadium. Like, hey, dude, like stop! Like you were there. Like why you didn't stop him, right? And I think that's one of our flaws. So I agree, Luis. Like I think this is just for me. This is super mental game. It's mental game. I think we are in a good mental place for Saturday. And hopefully it's not a game that Rafael Santos won't, grow. Probably he will grow in this game. Um, but hopefully he doesn't have those type of errors on Saturday. Like here's the thing: whoever scores is because due to errors. That's the reality. Because on both ends, they're gonna be all defense mode on both teams. So hopefully they get the errors, not us. So let me cross my fingers.
I think they're way more error prone than we are.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
And I
sure.
Correct.
think that's like, how
And
many goals have we conceded in the last even 10 games?
I
You,
agree.
Gonna
you,
check that
the
really
the
quick.
top teams can score maybe one or two against us, but and Columbus are that, and they're I think the best attacking team right now in the league. But we can't be one of the best attacking teams in the league and one of the best defensive teams in the league at the same time, whereas they are defensively like nowhere near the top of the league. I mean, conceding 6 goals to Atlanta, like Atlanta are good, but you're giving up 6 goals over 3 games in the playoffs. Imagine that if we gave up 6. Oscar would lose his mind. He would lose his mind. So I think both teams have the ability to score a lot of goals. What we need to do is control the game. We need to be the protagonists, like Oscar's always saying. We need to be the guys that dictate the way the game is open, when the game is opened up and when it's not, right? So if we want to open it up at the beginning of the match, see if we can get a couple goals, then Oscar will just shut it down. If we open up the game and it feels like they're coming into it more, like they're becoming the team that's on top, Oscar will be like, okay, hold the ball, shut it down, close it up. We're not going to let them start running at us and having a bunch of space. That's what I believe his game plan will be. And I think that game plan executes better than it did the last time we played them because we have the assets that we didn't have, like
Yeah, and
Williams
another
being the main one.
right, and another thing is, yeah, we have to score more goals than our opponents. I mean, you gotta. I mean, we don't. Orlando doesn't. I think Orlando has never scored a postseason more than one goal in the postseason. So that needs to change. And how do we change that? Not only by being, like I said, very fast. When it comes to defending, both of our win backs, but how do we change that? By taking advantage of every chance we have. And Orlando generates chances. I mean, there's set piece chances. I mean, we've conceded 5 goals against Columbus in the regular season. Look at this one right here that came from a set piece from Martin Ojeda. He curves, and that is Ramiro's goal in the last minute. Remember the 4-3 win? You know,
Ourselves. So I think that's the key, and that's why I'm talking about Oscar being smart enough about winning, like when to attack and when to press and when to shut it down and when to be more defensive. And that might be just over the first half. I'm not talking like, okay, we're gonna shut it down, Pappy specials. So in the last 3 games, Columbus have almost
But
conceded
wait,
the same
wait, but I
amount
have
as
I have
us
to
in
say
10 games.
wait, I have a better number now. Do you want to know
Okay,
about
yeah,
how
give me
many
the
goals
ultimate
Columbus
stat.
has conceded? 16 goals.
ooh,
In the last 10
60
games.
in the last 10 games they have conceded 16 goals. And
Wow.
5 of those 16 goals have been in the last two games. There you go.
Interesting.
There you go. So
And I would say, we can attack just as well as Atlanta. So they're
even
susceptible.
better than Atlanta. So like for
Probably, yeah.
sure. No,
Yeah,
Even
no
better.
doubt.
probably.
Yeah. So if Atlanta can put what they get like 6 against them, we can do at least 3 or 4 in a game.
We could have a
The key
better.
is just not letting them score 3 or 4 as well.
Now remember, this is a. I mean, this is going to be a huge game for Orlando. I mean, this is a one game and then that's it. So um, you got to take advantage of your chances. Orlando generates plenty of chances. Just they just don't put them away, and I think that's been a constant by the club. It's been a constant by Orlando City, and that needs to change, especially against a team like Columbus. I mean, because if you're not going to be putting those away, and you're going to wait for the 1-1, it's still 1-1 minute 75, and you've had like three chances right before the half, and you're not putting them away, all of a sudden they can do one of our plays, like like that last minute goal for Ramiro. They could do that as well. Like, I mean, you can have Diego Rossi go for the free kick, and then all of a sudden, we're screwed. Last minute goal, Columbus. Probably the ugliest goal ever, but again, a win.
All of the pundits around the league and everything I've listened to around the league this week have all been like, "What's the game you're looking forward to the most?" They're all picking this.
Yeah.
I think this is
No
like
pressure.
an MLS Cup final, like right here, Luis, for real.
Yeah.
And I remember the last game that we faced them on September, they were pressuring us all the first 15 minutes, like, or the first 45 minutes. I remember, like, they were pressuring us. We were all defense. We were inviting them to score first, because I remember, like, by heart, I was watching this game with dad back home, and I told my dad, if we don't pressure them, we're gonna lose, because they were pressuring us and they were much faster with the ball, um against us. Every single um podcast that I have listened, and we have said it here before, we need to score in the first 15 minutes. If we don't score in the 15 minutes, it doesn't mean that we're not going to win, but it could be that we're in trouble for the rest of the time being of the game. So I think we just need to be more solid, be the protagonist since minute one, and then score as fast as we can and keep the defensive lineup, tied together. And I think we're gonna win regardless, but that's my concern. Last game we didn't, we invited them to attack on us, and this game we cannot have that invitation in our home.
Before we go to the 11, we're gonna do our starting 11 for the game against Columbus. I wanted to. Oh, my camera turned on. That's weird. I wanted to go ahead and talk about this right here. This is a rumor. Apparently, there's a huge transfer battle for Matias Arezzo from Peñarol. Now, honestly, this player, I have not seen another Peñarol player. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this, honestly. I don't know if you
He's
guys,
on loan too from
yeah, have you guys
Peñarol,
seen
so
this?
he's
Have you guys
not
seen this? Like,
officially.
honestly, it's been all over um
Yeah,
MLS
Twitter.
sites. It's been all
Mhm.
over, Brazilian sites too, because Grêmio is going for the player as well. Also, Uruguayan sites. Have you heard anything regarding this guy?
I haven't heard anything like the player per se, but the transfer rumor, yes. Like I have heard something, and it's the same thing that you have pulled up here.
No, he's
Um,
21 years old. He's five. He's I think 5'9". Yeah, 5'9".
So he's the substitution of Facu.
Yeah, 10 games, 6 goals so far in the
He's just the
Uruguayan.
next in the many pipeline of South Americans, right?
Yeah.
Like he might be, he might not. I
Correct.
sometimes, Luis, you know as well as
Right.
I do, if they want a guy to like get a
He scored one
interest,
cap.
if they want to generate interest, agents will just start generating, like they'll make up stories that their players wanted by this team or that team, and I think the timing is way off. We're not shopping yet. He might be on a list somewhere, but I don't think we're shopping
Yeah, I
for him.
believe. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a good
Yeah,
player.
like he seems like the kind of player we would pick up. Definitely.
Right here in transfer market, I'm looking at his.
I've heard. I'm pretty aware of this guy and everything.
Yeah, but another
His
Peñarol player.
career.
It
He's
just seems kind of weird, like another Peñarol
he
player.
didn't really. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
believe he had some time in Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
he
I
playing
want to say,
Granada.
yeah.
He
So
playing.
I think one of those sort of didn't quite, have the full Europe, and maybe MLS is a more of a level for him. I mean, we do well with Uruguayans, so it makes sense. It seems like a transfer I would be happy about
Yeah,
and would take and
yeah,
see
we'll
what
see.
Oscar could develop out of this guy. And I don't. He could be a natural goal scorer, but he might just need to kind of bring it out himself. Who knows? But right now, just a rumor.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it's a rumor. They're saying that he's going to go for NYCFC's on the hunt for him too, and that's fine. I just feel like I had to bring it up because it's everywhere. Like if you put Orlando City on social media, the guy comes up. So all right, so we're gonna do our lineup. What do you guys think? Galese obviously starting.
For
Galese is
sure.
starting, of course. And the back four, as we mentioned, right? Dagger Dan, Rodrigo, um, and Jansen and Santos, right? Now I will make it. I would make a change, but I'll tell you guys in a little bit what I would make. Um, so Wilder and Cesar, right? You guys will keep Wilder and Cesar.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, there's
Now, okay, and look, to me, I feel that in this game, um, we need to have a little bit of a more of a movement on the ball, um, in a way of like we cannot lose the ball easily. And Mauricio is a great playmaker. I just would like to see him with fresh legs in the second half. Personally, I would put Martin Ojeda on here, or even Facu, and then Martin right here on the right. And I will keep Angulo here. I don't know what are your thoughts, if you guys agree. I just feel like in transition, if Columbus grabs the ball, you see like Mauricio lingering right here, and then you're putting everybody's going back, and he's just like right here, so it becomes like a 4-4-1-1 in a way. But I feel like with Martin, he can play a little deeper too, right? And it will make us defend more compact, especially if Duncan is here. Like everyone will be doing defensive work. I don't know if you guys agree, but that'll be my idea of playing Martin Ojeda over Mauricio. Do you guys agree, or you guys feel like Mauricio is the guy?
yeah. I think
John,
Mauricio is the guy if he is the guy. You know what I mean?
and
I
he's
think
rest.
I
He's
think
rested up.
give Mauricio the benefit of the doubt, and if it's like he's not generating anything or he's just having that game where he's not affecting the game, right? Because there are some times when Mauricio just isn't making the right, like passes aren't connecting or he's just being muscled out of the game, or he's not able to get on the ball at all. So if that happens, I agree, bring Ojeda in for sure. But I don't think starting him is a solution. I think he seems to be okay with being a bench guy, and in a game like this, having Ojeda off the bench could be, really impactful once our other attacking assets are tired, and you can bring him on for any of those front three if you wanted to. I think Mauricio, is also good as a sub, but you only can really bring him on in one position. I think that's the difference. And also Mauricio is somewhat of a leader on the field, right? And a captain.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I
yeah,
think there's that aspect that we can't in a big game. There's arguments to say you need your captain on the field.
all
And I
right.
think he's been looking good, right? I think
Yeah,
if
I mean,
Oscar was going to change stuff, I would agree, Luis. That's what I would change. I think Ojeda, especially in those last two games against Nashville, like he didn't even play in one, and then the other he didn't really get to do a whole lot because we were kind of just shutting the game down at that point. So I think we were missing Ojeda, right? I want to see some action from Ojeda. I want to see him take a long shot like he loves to do.
I think yeah, and I agree with you, John, on that piece too. And I think the missing part that is not convincing in our head about Martin Ojeda is his decision making, like throwing the ball, kicking the ball to the goal, like randomly, like those type of decision make it questionable to be in the starting lineup. I think it's that. I don't know if you agree, John, but that's what I can think, because game against Columbus he started and he scored, but at the same time this is a different game, a different beast on Saturday. So, and I think Mauricio is rest up. When he's rest up, he plays well in the next game. So hopefully they will be connecting those passes on Saturday.
yeah, and there's no time to do experiments either, right? So it's a semifinal, so there's no time to waste. There's no time to waste. There's no goals to be wasted and chances to be wasted. But also, I feel like Oscar, like you said, guys, he ain't gonna be changing this lineup until we probably play the MLS final. Right, John? MLS Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, I think also Oscar is such a creature. He's just like he doesn't change stuff unless he feels like he needs to change stuff.
That's right.
Or if like they need rest, right? I think that's the last time I really saw this team look tired was when we had to play 3 road games, and we got plenty of rest. And I think whenever they fully rested, this seems to be the lineup that he likes to play right now. I think Angulo brings you a lot defensively that you can't get from any other of the front four if you play one of them. And I think Facu is Facu, Mauricio is the captain, and Duncan picks himself, So you could play around with the front four if you wanted to. He might do that, but more than likely he's just going to roll with what he likes and what's working for him.
Sure. To me, if you give me a result, what would I predict? Are you guys ready for my prediction?
I'm ready.
Ready, guys.
Don't say penalties.
Everything works for Orlando in this game. All the chances. 4-1. Orlando City win. Look at John's face.
I mean, you're not like it could happen. Like
It could happen.
genuinely,
Like,
it could all just click, and we
even,
could have one of those
even off a set
games.
piece, Orlando gets one.
Like I
If
think
they score more than twice in a set piece,
Look,
I'm done.
look. If
I'm
Orlando,
imagine, Paula, imagine if we get the hat trick in the semifinal. Oh,
yeah, you imagine
the possibilities.
if Orlando scores 2 goals within the first 30 minutes of the game, you can definitely bet it's going to be more than three goals in this game.
I agree with that, Luis. I think your prediction is accurate. If we go up like 2, I expect them to crumble. You know,
they're gonna
like
fall.
if they see us score, because they know that if we go up 2 or 3, that's it for them. We'll just Oscar will Pappy special his way to the end of this game. We will hustle them like they have never been hustled. We will dark arts our way all the way to the end. Like so they can't let us go. Like if we score early and score multiple goals in that first half, it's done. And then it can go 4-1, you know. Hell, even 5-1 at that point. And we'll see Austin. We'll see the hat trick from Duncan or from Faku or somebody. But I think it'll be a little tighter. I think it's going to be like 3-2
I was
to
gonna say
us
that
with a Dagger Dad 80 something winner.
So which one is your prediction, John?
3-2 to us.
3-2.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's
Interesting.
not 3-2, but I was thinking 3-2 too. But I don't want to wait until the 90
Look, I
minute,
don't like
with
any
my
of this.
nerves.
I don't like any of this. All right, but the history tells us against Columbus that I'm gonna have stomach, tightness right until the last minute, and then we're gonna win it. Like it just, we will beat them. Like Paula, I know you were looking way back at all of the last times we played them. It seems to be like it's a tight game, but we beat them a lot, right? And we come back and
I
win.
mean,
Especially at
we
home. We
own
haven't lost to them
Columbus.
at home. Right. We kind of own them in a weird way. Even though they scare me, we do kind of own them. So I think it's going to be scary, but I still take the 3-2.
Listen, I don't bite my nails or
What's your
anything,
What's
but
your
I think on
prediction, Paul?
Saturday I'll be like, I won't be there, unfortunately. I have family things. Um, and I'm gonna tell my uncle, you know that I'm missing an Orlando City game to be here with you. So you better put the game on the TV if you don't want me to leave your house. So um I will be watching for sure. I will do anything to watch the game on Saturday. But I believe I'm gonna go differently since John took my predictions. I'm gonna say 3-1.
3-1 Orlando win.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Cucho Hernandez is gonna score one.
Imagine
I
if
think
this is
so.
another 1-0 Oscar, just like,
Park the bus.
yeah,
No,
we're just
but
now the best defensive team in the league. We're just like, nah, we're good. Like
yeah,
last 3 games, we're attacking. That's fine.
now
We're just
are
gonna
people
Pappy
gonna
special the
say?
rest of
Are
our
people
way if
gonna
you don't mind.
say? Like in the beginning of the year, are they gonna say, "Oh my God, we play horrible. Like this is not good soccer."
I mean, I saw some people complaining about the way we won against Nashville.
No
Like,
one's gonna,
I don't
Yeah.
care. I
guys.
don't
No
care at
one
this point. We
cares.
can win every
Stop
game
being a
like that.
fool.
I don't care at
You
all.
you want to so you
You
not
got
only
us
you
to
want
this
to
point. If that's what it takes to get over the finish line,
exactly.
no problem.
You play. Look, you play by
A
your
win is a
rules.
win.
A win's a win, and you're in the playoffs. It's a sudden death.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be the case. I think Nashville that was just a cagey affair. They don't score many goals. It's hard to score against them. Very different game against Columbus. Hence why all our score predictions are we scoring much more than we have the last few games.
Well, our final lineup is Galese, Dagardan, Rodrigo, Jensen, Santos. Double pivot Cesar Araujo, Wheeler Cartagena with Mauricio as your number 10. Your right wing will be Facundo Torres. Left winger will be Ivan Angulo. And right up top, Duncan McGuire. This will be the lineup for the game against Columbus. Hopefully, if obviously none of the players come injured, hopefully not, knock on wood, due to international duty. So anything else you want to add, Paola, before we close?
No, be there for the boys on Saturday. Let me remind you, this is our first time that we're in the semifinal conference. It's a super important game. We need to be there, and I'm super sad that I'm not gonna be there. But in spirit, John and you, Luis, will give them hell. Probably you will try to scream from the press conference. I know that you can't, Luis, but I know that a lot of people is not making it to the game because of this week has been like it's a horrible week to have a semifinal, but that's the league who decides it. It's not us. It's not the club. Let me tell you, it's not the club. It's the league, MLS league. So
Unbelievable.
probably they will learn. Probably they will learn from them their mistakes. I don't know, but I was so sad when they announced that it was in the 25th. I was like, please let it be in the 26th, not in the 25th. And boom. But no, give them hell on Saturday. Scream every time that they touch the ball. Scream. It's Saturday. Go nuts with water, right? Drinking water, not different type of alcohol, and no others. But support the team. Go crazy and vamos Orlando.
Skydream Productions. Before we go with John, 3-2 Orlando. I've been training my liver all week. I am ready. There you go. And then he says, "Let's fucking go." Thank you, Skydream. Appreciate it,
Yeah, I mean,
John.
I feel like every day this week, my like level of excitement and like pumpedness just keeps going up and up and up and up. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like what I'm gonna do with myself on Saturday, like I'm a mess on days like this, dude. I don't know. I just sit. I try to plan stuff in the day, like keep myself occupied, but the entire day I just think about the game. So yeah, like I'll go to brunch or something, or but I'll just be there, sitting there, being like, "Are we gonna win? Are we gonna win? Are we gonna win?" So yeah, don't talk to me on Saturday morning because I won't have a response. I'll just ask you about your opinion on Orlando City back. People will be texting me about work, and I'll be like, "No, forget that. Talk to me about Orlando City right now. That's the other thing I'll care about." So
Sky,
excitement is just gonna keep growing. I can't wait, man, and you know, this is potentially just one of maybe two more games after this. So if I'm this excited for a semifinal, I can't even imagine what it'll be like for an MLS Cup if
For
we
a
get there.
final. Oh
Oh,
my
who
lord.
knows?
and
But yeah,
talk about the final. Hopefully we
Sky
get.
Dream says Christmas this Saturday. I agree. It feels like
Yeah,
Christmas is coming, buddy.
I agree.
Merry Christmas, you're filthy. I'm just kidding.
JC Beast, vamos Orlando. Let's get this win. That's right. That's right. Thank you, JC Beast. Before we go, thank you for your support. Keep supporting us. Next, we'll keep covering Orlando City. Also, we'll do. We'll still come up with a pod even if there's no MLS. I'll still put out some content for y'all, videos and things like that. We'll get together, maybe get some interviews with some players. Um, Subscribe to the channel, drop us a like, thumbs up, click on the notification bell. If you're listening, thank you so much for your support, especially on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And vamos Orlando, guys. It's going to be a great weekend. Vamos Orlando, guys.
Vamos,
Vamos
Orlando.
Take
Orlando,
care,
let's
guys.
go.
Have a good one.